Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, along with Cameron Riley. Hot enough for you?
Oh, you can see me glistening.
So the hot has found its way into the house.
Yes,
Oh,
it is very hot, very humid, um, and I wanted to work from home today,
oh,
but ironically, I should not have because I am perspiring constantly.
wow. You guys set all kinds of records there today, from what I understand, in Chicago.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought I made it through the whole summer without putting in the AC. Just trying to save on, just the electric bill. And I was like, great, I made it. It's August. We're back to school. And then August said no.
not done with you yet.
Yeah. And so here we are. I couldn't sleep last night because it was so hot.
Was that uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Wow. That just brings back old haunting memories to me of growing up on the south side of Chicago, and we did not have air conditioning, and it was quite uncomfortable. But at that time, we could there was not a problem with leaving the front door and the back door open and creating that cross breeze that today doesn't seem to be a feasible situation. Doesn't
I'm
seem to make
afraid
as
not.
much sense. Yeah. But you guys, what did you make it to 100 today?
It was 97 last time I checked.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're probably pretty much there, especially when you probably move over to other sides of the city that don't have as much of a tree canopy. Uh,
Right.
yeah, to really cool off that neighborhood. Looking at you, back of the yards.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah,
For people who don't know, explain what back of the yards is.
back of the
There's a
yards
big
is where all of
restaurant.
Chicago's factory and industry. It's
Mhm.
one of those neighborhoods, and so they've got a bunch of really great looking warehouses, but no trees, no trees.
None. None. And I search for trees here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, especially like when I'm parking and stuff. I'm looking for some shade because well, it's just not, and it's not that big of a deal for me because I get into a car, I turn on the air, and I'm good to go. But it's harder on the car, when it's that hot, and to try to cool it down, it's more difficult on my old buggy. So, but I remember those days, and I feel sorry for the kids that are in school today, those that are on buses, no air conditioning, and and people who are in their homes, maybe their air conditioning doesn't work, maybe they don't have it, and they're at the mercy of somebody bringing a fan by or putting in a window unit or something for people.
Yeah,
I know there
we
are cooling centers though, there aren't there?
yeah, we've got cooling centers. I There are the safe passage personnel that guarantee that students make their way to and from their destination safely. And there's one that works right across the street from my job, and so I gave her a bottle of water as she was like seeking refuge in the very little bit of shade
Yeah.
that she could find on her corner, and she looked very relieved.
Yeah, well, this is not new for us in Dallas. Dallas people are going, well, if we didn't get to 100 today, but 90, what was it, 95, 96 degrees.
Oh,
And we've had consecutive days. I mean, for scores of days where we've had consecutive days of 100 or more in history. But this is a different kind of hot for people in Chicago, and it's moving to the East Coast, and it's going to be uncomfortable for them as well.
ooh,
Especially because that is an area where they really don't have a lot of air conditioning in the homes and things because the weather just doesn't call for it.
yeah, brace yourself, Baton Rouge,
Yeah,
Louisiana is coming.
yeah, it's coming, and it's a hot one. But the good thing is that this is supposed to be over for you guys, from what I understand, tonight into tomorrow. Like maybe even cooling off to the 80s tomorrow.
Yeah, looking forward to those mid 80s. It's supposed to cool down a little bit. I thought there was going to be just like a torrential rain pour to
Yeah,
cool everything
yeah.
down, but that's not what I'm seeing this week. So I'm a little nervous of when the rain does come. a little nervous.
The same here. They were talking about there's some rain this afternoon. It still has not come, but soon come the rain, I guess. I don't know. But stay strong and and hydrate.
Yeah.
And hydrate. Um, we are awaiting Ahmed, but let's get started with the What You Need to Know newsletter, Cameron,
All right.
and you're up first. Cameron, in today's newsletter, took a look back at the entertainment at last week's Democratic National Convention, and maybe just give us some of your impersonations from uh, not necessarily being at the convention, but in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah, just experiencing the mix from commuting in and around the convention, just overhearing conversations in cafes and coffee shops and things. Some of the things that impressed upon people well was just the renewed vigor and sense of hope, the hopamine, as I have come to call certainly delivered unto us by the Obamas for sure, but cannot discount Kamala Harris herself for really facilitating those kind of vibes. There was a lot of wealth flexing, especially by the Illinois governor, J.B. Pritzker.
Yeah. I thought that was a brilliant line, and nobody liked it.
I thought that it was fine too, because I think that people really need to understand that as far as business acumen and wealth goes, if you were to give Donald Trump a grade on how well he does it, doesn't look like he's doing very well.
Right.
Comparatively speaking, to other successful people. And
J.B. Pritzker is the governor of Illinois, and he is a billionaire. He's from the Hyatt family, the hotel magnate, and so he knows whereof he speaks in terms of wealth. And
he's also in Donald Trump's industry of
real estate
choice.
So
I don't know. So people didn't really like the wealth flexing that much. The roll call just continues to be the highlight. And I mean, come on, like if you didn't enjoy at least a little bit of the roll call, I question what's going on inside there. Roll call was definitely great. I can't account for some of the organizing and the programming that happened outside of like the live broadcasted events. I know there were some attempts to interrupt and disrupt going on in the mix, but from what we can see, the only arrests that were made were just from the occasional derelict. So that's good. The article that I had wrote was called "An Embarrassment of Riches," just encapsulating all of the social capital that the DNC brought to them. The convention and the Democratic Party, at least from my perspective, really wanted to show how they can unite all of America. And who better to show that than bringing out a lot of people from Black Hollywood. Almost everybody was there. And if you are wondering, well, they got paid to be there, not really. I did a bit more digging, and the Democratic National Committee, who runs the whole thing, is really big on their volunteerism. People say these speeches and do these performances. Stevie Wonder, Keenan, Lil Jon, even. They do it for the love of it, the passion of it. They do it because this is what they are deciding to believe in.
Did they fly them in and put them up?
I would assume that they compensate travel and give them a per diem or something. But being there for 12 hours a day, waiting for your time slot and going through all of the security personnel.
There's a lot of that.
I mean, that's just a lot to deal with. And so I'm looking at the DNC and they're flexing their social capital, and then I'm looking at the RNC, who is paying for Trump's legal bills, and then I'm just talking to all of the Black swing voters that are out there, and we are out there. look at how your party of choice represents themselves, or
Right.
choosing to represent themselves, and see whether or not you can rock with that. And if
Right.
you disagree and still want to participate, then great. Change the way that you are represented. Great. If you
Be a
disagree,
part of the solution.
exactly. So that's what I had wrote on for today's article, because the DNC's got it going on so much so, Sybil, that legends were spreading all across the city that Beyonce and Taylor Swift were gonna pull a Deus Ex Machina and just appear, and the whole city was bracing for impact.
Well, across the country too.
Across the country, then, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And texting the people that were there, people. This is really funny. There are people there, Cameron, that swore that they saw her, that they swore they saw B, and it's coming. It's going to happen tonight. She's going to come out with the vice president. She's going to come out singing freedom, and every time freedom played, everybody's like, "Oh, this is it." And
well, clearly it was written in the Book of Renaissance, verse 12, chapter 2, that would descend upon the Midwest, bringing with her a chance of freedom, galvanizing those to solidify the first Black woman president. I remember reading that in the B scriptures, so I'm surprised that it didn't happen. Hi, man.
Well, so some of the people that you talked about, of course, it's not a party without Stevie Wonder, and he's saying higher ground, and what that is and what that means to him and to this time in our lives. There was a salute to Minnesota and a little Prince there by John Legend and the great Sheila E. And then for comedic purposes, Keenan Thompson from Saturday Night Live and the book of Project 2025. And while we're talking about this, Med, how are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
Good. We're talking about the entertainment factor at the last week's Democratic National Convention. Were there any moments that caught your eye?
Entertainment wise, no. It was the DNC. They did their thing. They're celebrity kind of driven when it comes to promotion and to
But
getting things.
This seemed different.
It seemed I mean, the energy was extremely high for the DNC. It was one heck of a pep rally for 4 days, and it was funny hearing about the you see people do videos of the contrast to the RNC where it felt like doom and gloom over there. So it was very interesting juxtaposition of both conferences. But another thing that was interesting to
and
kind
very
of
violent masculine energy at the RNC.
Yeah, but also something that was brought up that I didn't even think about, how the RNC has no connection to its past. There was no President Bush. There is
They won't.
It's like they said, this is not the Republican Party that we know and we love. You know what I'm saying? And the Republican Party right now, the MAGA Republican Party, doesn't really want a connection to that. They think of the old regime as soft. You know what I'm saying? And they want their leader Trump to lead the way back into a better future. But I'm just
an all white male future who's dictating the future of everyone else.
Yeah, and my question is honestly, well, what happens to them after this election? Because after Trump is gone and done and can't do this no more, who do you have? Who is that person?
You got JD.
I mean, he done made himself look like an idiot for the most part. Like, I don't even see Republicans backing him now. They're like, well, they're all like, what did we do? So my question is, again, who does the RNC have past Trump? They don't have. If Trump doesn't have to do a debate, if Trump doesn't have to debate, no. But if Trump can not debate anybody for months and it's not even close, like that if that doesn't tell you all you need to know,
and just rack up the delegates, just
doesn't have to do anything, doesn't have to answer to anything, doesn't have to do anything, and that should tell you what trouble your party's in. Yeah. It's in bad shape, and I felt the Democrats were in a bad shape too. But this has helped, and I feel like they gotten their momentum.
The
back.
Audible really,
changed everything.
Changed absolutely everything.
It changed everything because, like I've said before, and I was talking about it, with Khameron last week. It was this that they never recovered from Hillary losing, right? And so now it feels like they're getting some momentum. While you're looking over the Republicans, you're like, well, what's your plan after Trump? I don't see a plan after Trump. And if they lose this time, they really are in trouble. Or here's my question to you, Sybil: are they certain Republicans hoping they lose?
So very much so.
So they can get things kind of back to normal.
Very much so. I think a lot of those people are those that, not necessarily those that have come aboard and are endorsing Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, but there are a lot of people who are just kind of holding back and will vote for her in hopes that she'll win. She'll do 4 years, and then they'll come back with the.
We're going to call a truce for the next few months, the next few weeks. We're going to call a truce. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Mm-hmm. And after you win, I'm on your head again.
Right. Yeah.
All bets are off.
Yeah. We'll chill for the next couple months. After that, it's just hands.
Yeah.
But, right.
Yeah.
For now, we'll chill.
And we're gonna show you our hands too if we win the Senate, which is now a fear that the Republicans are gonna win the Senate, not have a 50-50 split, but are going to have a majority. And I think there's some concern about the House too, but the House has been such an F up that I don't know that it's going to be. I don't think that little Mikey Johnson is going to get his job back. I don't know. I don't have a feeling about that either way. Khameron, before we wrap this up, who caught your eye? Who was your favorite entertainment as you were writing about this? Who did you think was the number one?
Well, this is just like very esoteric, but my favorite is just like seeing Spike Lee, because he looks just like the very proud auntie at everything that he's like a fan of, whether it be a Knicks game or like how his city or how his state is introducing the roll call. Mm-hmm. If you're in like a crowd with Spike Lee and Spike Lee doesn't look absolutely upset, then you're doing a great thing.
Then it's okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite was the nieces. I got to tell you, as much as I love the speeches, and I thought every person that spoke knocked it out of the park. Some better than others, but those big keynote addresses, I thought Bill Clinton was good. It was too long, but that's Bill Clinton. He's known for his long speeches. Hillary Clinton, I thought, did a really good job.
Oh yeah.
And then of course the Obamas and of course Vice President Harris, I thought, and Tim Walz. I loved his son. I love that they embrace who their son is with all of his challenges, and that they are, that's Gus, and that's going to bring about a whole new conversation, I think, in the Harris-Walz administration about how we treat our children who have special needs and things like that. I really do think that's going to enhance that conversation. So just another thing that I want to talk about in the What You Need to Know newsletter is please subscribe if you don't already. You'll get great articles like what Khameron has done in terms of the entertainment, and we took you all through the convention last week with updates on late night updates on what was going on there, and this really is about the Black folks that read our newsletter and the Black folks that write for our newsletter. So if you go to sybilwilkes.com, give us your name and your email address. We'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning, and when you get it, please open it. We would appreciate it.
One last thing I forgot to mention, Sybil. Yes. Reportedly, the DNC 2024 costs $188 million. That's a little lean for me. I think the official amount is around is around like 225, 250.
I was thinking well into the twos. Yeah, I wasn't sure how far in, but definitely. And it showed. I mean, it showed like they spent some money on that, not just the pseudo set for Donald Trump.
Right.
It really did show, and they put some work in it with all the videos and things that they did. Um, so let's move to, and we can talk about this more because there's some more things that are related to this when we get into trending topics. Today, the question of the day, yesterday was National Dog Day.
Oh.
National Dog Day. And so it's been created so that all breeds of dogs are celebrated, mixed and purebred. And this day also helps galvanize the public so that they can recognize the number of dogs that must be rescued on a yearly basis. I watch a television station in which every day the ASPCA has extended commercials, and so it just breaks my heart, and I just I don't have the money every time I see the commercial to send the money, but I do love dogs, and I grew up with dogs, and so that is the question. Tell us about your dog or dogs, their names, their breed, and your best memory of a dog, if you had one growing up and don't have one now, or a cousin had a dog or whatever. Um, as I said, I grew up with dogs, and from the time that I was born, my parents had dogs, and when my dad died, we still had a German Shepherd. And when the German Shepherd got dementia, and so we had to put her down, or as my mother said, she went to the farm. And so my mom thought she was off the hook for having dogs because it was really on her after my dad died. And so when it came to 8th grade, my mom said, you have a choice. You can have a dog or you can have a party. I said, give me the dog. And she was just so sure I was my dad's daughter, and I was going to have a party, but I really wanted that dog. And and so that lasted through high school. And then someone stole Sir Lancelot, was our miniature schnauzer. So I have fond memories of that now. And now I have guide dogs. I have Lawler and I have Ramsey. And they are two distinct personalities, one like each of their owners. Like Ramsey is Yolanda's dog, Lawler is Ward's dog, and ne'er the twain shall meet as far as those dogs. And Ramsey is the alpha dog, but Lawler gives it everything he's got. Man, he's just and when he's down, it hurts you because he's fighting inside. But they've both gone through some challenges this year. It makes you really appreciate the dog. So, do you guys have memories of dogs in your past? I'm not talking your dog. I'm talking your dog.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the lovely dogs that my grandma brought into our lives and before. My mom had a dog named Angel who had like social anxiety, so she would relieve herself because she would get too excited when you united with her after a long day.
What kind of dog was she?
Angel was a retriever, I believe. I think Angel was a golden retriever. And then there was Bubbles, a Cocker Spaniel. And then Max was a Rottweiler German Shepherd that we rescued, but also got like dementia toward the end of his life and started just like aggressing the family. Now I think Gwen asks a valid question.
That is valid, and it was diagnosed by the doctor at the time because she became easily confused as to where she was, and it wasn't a sight thing. It was she would just be looking around and be there. She would hear us call her, and she didn't recognize us by our voices or by our persons, and so the doctor said that was a sign of dementia, and didn't know how long it was going to go, but. We always had to, and when we left her at home, it was alone. It was really dangerous because she would become frustrated and then would start tearing things and being destructive.
Oh yeah. Max just started literally biting the hand that feeds.
Yeah. And
Uh,
that's the thing with dogs as opposed to human beings, even with babies, you can say. I'm sorry. Yolanda's reminding me, Gwen Webb asking in the comments, how do you know a dog has dementia? And that was our doctor, our veterinarian who gave us that diagnosis. Matt, did you have dogs as a kid?
Growing up, no. I got a dog when I moved to Georgia. My brother wanted a dog, and so we were leaving Walmart, and I was 17, and outside of Walmart was these puppies. They were just giving them away. So I grabbed one and took it home. And my dad was like, "What the hell is this?" my dad being the pure Jamaican that he is, ain't no dog belong in the house.
Right.
So Sheila never came in the house ever. She was a garage dog. And,
wow.
She was a Rottweiler German Shepherd mix. And fiercely loyal, fiercely protective of the house. But she was kind of rough around the edges because she really didn't have any training per se.
Training.
Yeah, she wasn't house trained. So, but if you go for a walk with her, she knew how to heel. Like you could stop walking, she'll sit down immediately, all that kind of stuff. But if she ever got into the house, which she did sometimes, it was like a hurricane.
Oh yeah,
and you just hear you just hear her hitting every corner as fast as she could, just because she's like, "Ooh, I'm finally in."
Let me go.
I'm tearing it up. But then, like when I moved to Chicago after I graduated college, my friend had a dog. His name was Jigga, and I don't know what Jigga was. He was Jigga, and Jigga was a big black and white like dog, and he was probably the coolest dog you ever meet. Then if you threw something for him to chase, he would never chase it. He would just stare at it.
He dropped something.
If somebody to the door, he would never bark. He was just like, "All right." And
so when somebody came to the house,
no,
the dog never.
Jigga would just look at him and like, "All right." And if you give him a good pillow, he gives you a good hump. And that was Jigga's existence, but he was a sweet dog, and he liked being pet, and he didn't like when you stopped.
Oh yeah.
So he was like, "Rub me,
right?
Love me, feed me, and then let me hump something." That was Jigga's existence. That was it. But he was a good dog.
Jigga
there are a lot of dogs like that.
Yeah, well, that's Ramsey and Lawler for sure. Lawler,
no, I mean dogs with 2 legs.
Yes.
Thank you, Yolanda. Mother to Ramsey and Lawler.
Yeah, we're simple. Sometimes we're just as simple as Jigga was.
Yeah.
Don't want to do much. Just rub me and let me hump something.
No feeding.
Oh, feed me, rub me, let me hump something.
What about your boy? Does he want a dog?
No, my son hates animals.
Oh wow.
He had an experience where this little dog next door got loose, and my son was like 3 or 4, and it was just one of those little, tiny little dogs.
Yeah, little rat dog.
To him, that thing just chased him. And ever since then, now he was like, I'm done with dogs. Don't want a dog. Don't want to be near a dog. I hate all dogs. My son hates birds that are in the sky, that are nearby. My son just like, hey, anything that's not a human being, keep it the heck away from me. Unpredictable. Really? I don't like it. Yeah,
wow. That's right.
Blake don't mess with animals at all.
Okay. Well, we had a whole house. We had hamsters. We had a bird. We had rabbits. We had.
He wants a fish.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's time. It is time for him to go through that period of killing sea animals.
Maybe a turtle.
Yeah.
Just goldfish, and we will wait until they're belly up.
What about a sea monkey?
Sure, why not? Because I just feel like around this age, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, is the time when you get like a fish from the school or something like that, and that's the beginning.
Yeah.
Of random killing of
and you'll come home one day and
or the fun. Where'd these other fish come from? Them 2 little guppies were getting busy,
like
baby.
Daddy. Yeah.
Damn guppies, baby.
Yolanda, do we have any people who Okay, Pamela Sullivan on Facebook. We had dogs, cats, fish, hamster, and a bird. Yeah, yeah. Much to my mother's dismay. Much to my mom's dismay, we had all of that. Janet Ferguson on Facebook. We always had cats and dogs. I'm a dog lover.
Yeah, cats are weird.
I've never been a cat person.
I like cats only because they come. It feels like they come potty trained. Like you throw down some cat. We had a cat for a brief moment, and then it was weird. But it was like you put some cat litter in a box, you put said kitten in box, and they are now programmed.
They know where to go.
Like a software update, and they're like, oh, this is where I do my do.
Right.
Excellent. From birth. And then you just leave them alone and you go about your lives.
That's
and
it.
You feed them.
That's it. We're talking about National Dog Day this week and trying to celebrate those that are mixed bred and purebred. Annette Bailey on Facebook. I'm fostering Dora, who gave birth to 7 puppies: Gopher, Pretty Girl, Grayson, Tommy Girl, Midnight, Turkey, and Manny. Pretty Girl and Tommy Girl.
Dora's for the streets, huh?
Okay.
Did you not know?
Well, we had when we had the German Shepherd Snoopy, she was pregnant. My mom kept telling me that the dog's pregnant. My dad's like, oh, she's been nowhere. She's just in the yard. She's a yard. Well, somebody got in the yard and she went going in the closet in the basement and gave birth to 9 puppies. Pamela Sullivan adds on Facebook, I forgot hermit crabs.
Yeah, I had a hermit crab.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another. As a kid, you just grab some things, and yeah, hermit crabs was one of them.
Yeah,
wow.
I think that was around like 4th or 5th grade.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good.
It's seafood. It's seafood time. Yeah.
Taking the Red Lobster. Pick out a. Sorry. Janet Ferguson on Facebook. I had a dog named Bougie, a Shih Tzu, that I had for 15 years and had to put her down in September 2021. So I got me another one in April 2022 named Nyla. Nyla, like Lion King, I guess.
I wanted you to call him Bad, so you had Bad and Bougie.
Look at you. Look at you. The next one, please. Janet, please, can we go with Bougie and Bad?
Bad.
Okay. Candace Holmes on YouTube. My yellow lab, Cullen Edward Holmes. Yes, he had a middle name. Was the one dog I've had that scared the Jehovah's Witnesses away forever. That was in 2016. I see them drive by every Saturday. Don't go to that house.
Yeah.
Is that a Twilight reference? Cullen Edward?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sounds like Twilight band.
If I ever had another dog, I'd probably name it Mr. Belvedere. So there's that. I don't know why. I just wanted a British dog, and I'd probably talk to him like, Mr. Belvedere, did you want something to eat? I'd probably do all that. That's probably why I don't have another dog.
That's probably why, and God in his infinite wisdom. Jacqueline McDowell Hendricks on Facebook. Dogs, cats, rabbits, and a chicken.
Here, chickens make good pets.
Do they?
Yep, and pigs.
Did you have one? Hold on, Manuel Murphy, we're coming.
Oh, go ahead.
You had a chicken?
There are just a lot of farms in the neighborhood, and so I met a silk-footed rooster named Mr. Jeremy.
Wow.
A good rooster. Yeah.
I feel like it's proper when you can give them a Mr. in their name.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Reese Sweeney, who has his own who works at the radio station down here in Magic, and he has his own little chicken situation going on at his house. And he sells eggs, like really good eggs.
Oh.
Yeah, he really got like a chicken situation going on at his house. He got a whole in his backyard, a whole setup.
There's a farm.
No, his backyard ain't that big, but he got chicken coops back there. He got coops back there, and he sells eggs. So shout out to Reese.
All right, Mr. Manuel Murphy, what do you have? On Facebook, I love them, but as you said, it's too much maintenance at this stage of my life. I just don't have. I have the width to be maybe a foster. I'm not sure. I don't know if I have the bandwidth to do bring home a dog and train it and all that kind of stuff.
You should use WAG
from scratch.
Say again, Cameron.
You should use WAG so that people can like pay you to babysit their dogs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because I don't take anything for babysitting Ramsey when he's home alone. But I do. He's got my heart. Regina Glover on Facebook. I'm scared of any animals that have fur. So you join Med's son and see if you guys can form some sort of group.
Yeah, it's the daily when you're out and walking around, especially if we go downtown Atlanta and there's a dog about to come by and we all have to move our whole bodies to the other side of the. And I'm like, he don't even thinking about you. He's not. Like, that dog is literally looking for a butt to sniff. He's not
right.
worried about you at all. You're more worried than he is.
Right.
He's more scared of you than you are of him. Okay.
And his bark is much worse than his bite because he don't have one, probably.
Yeah.
Gwen, come with the peacock. I want to know about this.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. Gwen said her neighbors had a peacock.
I've seen like the joke is like when like emotional support animals became like just like an authorized thing on paper that people would always throw in peacock when they were joking about like emotional support ostrich.
Yeah, bringing them on the plane and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine peacocks would require quite a bit of space so that they can, so they can do their thing.
Well, thanks, guys. That was fun. And to Ramsey and Lawler, I send my love and my money. Let's move to trending topics. What a day. Your day started out in Atlanta, Med. 2 people were killed and a third seriously injured when a tire exploded and sent metal flying as it was being removed from a Delta Airlines plane at Hartsfield-Jackson this morning.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
They said in a statement that it occurred at a wheel and brake shop at the Atlanta Technical Operations Maintenance Facility and killed this Delta employee and a contractor, leaving another airline worker badly injured. Those that were killed were identified by the Atlanta Journal as Luis Alderando, age 37, and 58-year-old Mirko Marweg. You think about things in the air, but you don't think that, you're changing a tire and things explode. And it's just frightening. Marweg's wife had told the paper that he was a loving father, a loving husband, and a loving brother. And that's just a terrible loss. And it was a very dark day, I guess, around Atlanta Hartsfield, especially for
But did he opt in for work-covered life insurance during the open enrollment period?
That's key. That's key. I mean, because we don't think about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't, because, I'm going to live forever and I don't do a dangerous job. I just, I'm the maintenance guy,
if you're in maintenance, you have a chance of getting killed at your job. There's always like for me, me dying at my job would be, very slim to none.
An angry
it would be some wild situation for that to happen. So, I'd probably say, but if I'm changing tires for planes, that could go left at any time. I'm gonna let you know. So I'm definitely getting coverage.
Well, and I'm not trying to be funny, but there was a situation not too long ago where someone got blown into the engines, right? And it was going around, and
I'm around any plane, there's a chance that I could die. So, I mean, there's plenty of jobs like that when you're working around vehicles or construction or maintenance, even working at a normal garage, you know what I'm saying? And fixing, anything can happen. So, you better get that workers comp.
Donald Trump has been re-indicted today. A federal grand jury in Washington re-indicted the former president on 4 felony charges related to his effort to subvert the 2020 presidential election. A 36-page indictment secured by special counsel Jack Smith, still at it, an attempt by prosecutors to recalibrate the case against him in light of the Supreme Court's ruling last month that concluded presidents enjoy sweeping immunity from prosecution for their official conduct. This new indictment removes some of the specific allegations against Trump, but contains the same 4 criminal charges, including conspiracy to defraud the United States. It's a signal that Jack Smith believes that the High Court's immunity decision does not pose a major impediment to convicting the former president. And you'll remember he was charged last August with conspiracy to defraud the U.S., conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction and attempt to obstruct, obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. He pleaded not guilty and has denied any wrongdoing, but we've seen this before. The Supreme Court decision earlier this year sent his federal January 6th case back to a trial court to work through this decision, and that's what Jack Smith did, and now he's re-indicted. So we were talking about the DNC earlier, and news reports indicate that they also in attendance at the Democratic National Convention was COVID-19.
Oh yeah.
Health officials say they saw no sign of a COVID-19 uptick after the convention, while attendees are out on social media about getting sick. One union official said that he knows at least 14 people who tested positive since attending the convention. Officially no numbers, and there won't be, because at this stage of the COVID pandemic, or lack, not a pandemic, but the COVID virus being out among us, many people diagnose themselves with at-home tests, and you don't go through official channels with your doctor,
Right,
who will make that report. A virus incubation period up to 2 weeks. Many out-of-towners just may be starting to feel the symptoms of COVID as they're getting back.
A couple days leading up to it, a few of my coworkers who are in the mix in that sector caught COVID. So I was like, oh, okay, here it comes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RNC, there was an uptick in grinder activity, so I can understand that for the DNC, an uptick in COVID. So
a lot of close talking maybe for the DNC. The grinder deal, so much more different. This is in reference to a story that I did for today of the debate about the debates. Donald Trump said that he wasn't going to do the September 10th debate on ABC because he didn't like the fact that Vice President Harris wants the mics to be open. She just wants everybody to see what he's going to say, hear what he's going to say, and from there. Now he says that he will participate in the September 10th debate after all. He posted on Truth Social, his media site, today that they will go head-to-head live debate hosted by ABC News. They previously agreed on the date and the host network. Trump cast doubt on this, of course, over the weekend, whether the debate would have happened after all. Why would I debate against Kamala Harris on that network? He was upset because Sunday on ABC This Week with George Stephanopoulos, Jonathan Karl interviewed a Republican Senator, Tom Cotton, and he thought that it was very disrespectful. I thought that John Karl tried his best to hold Cotton's feet to the fire because he was giving all of these bizarre things that come out of the Trump administration. And Trump was criticizing Jonathan Karl and said that he wasn't going to be on there. He continued to criticize the network again today, but now the report has come out that they will. I'm not sure what agreements they're going to do. If you all have heard, whether the vice president is going to allow the mics to be muted. It doesn't matter whether they're muted or not. It really doesn't. She's going to go in there and do her great job, and he's going to be left flat-footed, still thinking that he's going to be debating Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I think that MVP Harris can honestly win or lose this situation with the debates, because in my opinion, she should destroy him in the debates. Donald Trump's base is always going to love Donald Trump. I don't care what happens in the debate. I don't care if she clearly outclasses him. They'll find a way to flip it and spin it that he won. This election is not going to be won.
Sure.
This election is not going to be won by the bases, as we already know. This election is really going to come down to the people in the middle. And I really don't think the Republicans are doing a very good job of getting the others, not the base, because right now they're speaking to their base.
Mm-hmm.
And during election time, that doesn't do you any good. You're not supposed to speak to your base. You're speaking to the people who are undecided, because the people who are in your base, they're going to come out and vote, and they're going to come out and vote for you. So giving the rhetoric that you do all the time, the way you speak to people, the way you call people out, that doesn't help you with the undecided. The undecided doesn't like that for the most part. So all she has to do is win these debates, and I feel that will give her victory in when it comes to the election. But I also want to say that I do not like how biased like ABC and stuff are against Trump. I think that hurts as well. I think that pushes some people who are undecided say,
like be on the edge, yeah.
Like why are y'all doing it like this? You know what I'm saying? Why are you having just a panel against Trump talking about how bad Trump is?
They don't do that. They don't do that. I promise you. I watch them every week, and they always have a balance of Republicans or Republican-leaning news organizations and Democrats and Democrat-leaning organizations. It's always 2 and 2. I promise you. Reince Priebus, who was head of the RNC for a while, you try, but some things you just can't defend.
No, I know. No, I get it. I get it. But I'm always like, we have to be careful because I've always said that
I agree with you on that.
The media built Trump up until they realized that he was a danger and he had a chance.
And now they're just knocking him down.
And it was like they were like, "Oh, let's get Trump on. Oh, Mr. Trump. Oh, Mr. Trump, you're so great."
Just push play. Yeah.
And then when it was like, "Oh, wait a minute, he has a shot," and the 180 against him was so dramatic back then. So they do have to really be careful with how they
yeah, they I gotta admit that monster was made.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was a media driven and
for
created
free
monster.
for free because no other Republican could get that kind of press.
Yeah. Are you interested in the fact that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are going to have their first sit down with a news organization this week?
Yes.
CNN
Sure.
Through the straw. They'll have their first joint interview Thursday night.
I don't like joint interviews. I think it's corny and it looks corny. Like when she was interviewing, I'm like, don't stop this. Please, please stop this and just be human beings. Stop this whole, I
don't know why the joint either, because I think both of them are perfectly capable of doing
by themselves. But when you put both of them together, it becomes just a very weird session of
coach and the president.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Let them stand on their own. She needs the biggest thing about her has been like she really hasn't done any interviews, but now the first one you're gonna do with somebody else. They're gonna discount it. They're gonna say that doesn't count. Yeah, she has to do one by herself. And answer hard questions about how she's changed her mind on certain topics. Or something that maybe go against how she was as Attorney General, whatever the case may be. Answer the damn questions about your policies and things like that. Make it clear, and let's move forward. But trying to do it with Walz as your first one, I'm not for it.
No, I think if they're going to do the debates alone, that they can do their interviews alone.
Absolutely.
And I agree. But if this is the only way they're going to get it, Khameron, how do you feel about the joint debates? The joint interview.
I think it's an exciting time to show unity. That's what their message. That's their underlying message is, that they feel like that they need to show to everyone. So I'm down for it. I think that they're both exceptionally media trained. I'm looking forward to seeing what the synergy is between both of them in that interview format. I think that they both do have a lot to prove as individuals to the supporter base, the next generation of voters, and to swing state voters. So yeah, I agree, man. That is like the breakout interview.
Let's just go by yourself.
Everyone's interested in be a big girl.
Yeah, that's all I'm thinking about. It's like your first one, do that, and if you want to have one like before the presidential debate happen, sure. But let's hey, be the president that we want to see. You know what I'm saying, and take that head on.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all can hear this, but we're having a thunderstorm. I don't know if you get, but it's coming. It's coming, so it's good.
Could use one of those. Yeah.
I know. I hope yours comes soon too. So more than 200 former aides to 3 GOP presidential types, nominees or presidents who preceded former President Trump have now endorsed Vice President Harris. A majority of the group also endorsed President Biden in 2020. But they wrote in this letter announcing the endorsement. It said it was a reunion of sorts from 2020, though it added that additional Bush alumni in particular were added to the group this cycle that were opposing Trump and backing Harris. They wrote, of course, we have plenty of honest ideological disagreements with Vice President Harris and Governor Walz. That's to be expected. The alternative, however, is simply untenable.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the
just
stakes are too high right now. Stakes are way too high. I mean, just from everything that's going on at all levels of existence, from climate to geopolitical. I mean, the United States is involved in like 5 wars right now.
Yep.
Armed conflicts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think we need a man at the helm who is like looking for some blood to spill.
And to cozy up with, you know, a tyrannical leader. We've run out of time for this, but I do want to mention that Lowe's, the home goods retailer, is paring back on their efforts to promote LGBTQ inclusion. I'm gonna save this for your sister tomorrow. This is the latest company to respond to growing cultural backlash led by conservatives targeting queer representation in public life. An internal
Lowe's is black.
That's the thing. The dude in charge is a black man.
Oh, it's run by a black man?
Yes.
Oh, his CEO?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Did not know Lowe's was run by a black dude.
Yes.
I was very excited about Taco Bell being run by a black guy, but this is I did not know this.
No. I know that American Express had a black CEO for 17 years.
What?
Yeah, he spoke at the DNC. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
He got good credit.
He got the best. That was a part of his agreement.
Right. Forever good credit. Forever good credit, no matter what happens.
That's a good question, though. About who didn't you know was black and in charge? Yeah,
black CEOs in the country would be shocked.
More. Yeah.
Yeah. Lowe's, Jack Daniels, a lot of like tried and trusted American brands are getting bullied by like conservative interest groups, having them divest and their like DEI initiatives. And the funny part about it is like they weren't even called that until DEI became a thing. And now that they're under that umbrella, now they are no longer a thing. Like
now the thing is dead.
Yeah, like for instance, Harley had long sustainable partnerships with like black and LGBTQ interest groups because everybody likes to drive motorcycles.
Yeah.
But now those relationships are, expired. That is really unfortunate. But
that's a damn shame.
Yeah, it's interesting because CEO of Lowe's is black. So
that's crazy. Dude.
Wow.
Dude, your board said you got to do this. Is that what's behind this? Because I just can't imagine this. Let's move to entertainment. Now, I thought about this, but now it's come to be. And Ned, maybe you think about this as a father, and maybe you'll have to think about this like LeBron. But what does Bronny call dad on the basketball court now that they're playing on the same team? Will he call him dad? Will he, what is that going to look like? Dad, I'm open.
Yeah, I heard Bron speak on this.
Right.
And he said no.
He said he will not call him dad when they are on the court. As a matter of fact, he said, hell no.
No, do not. He said, you can call me Bron 2-3 GOAT.
Right, you call me GOAT.
But what you will not do is call me dad while we're on the court. You can say, Dad, I'm open. I don't know. No, you will not get the ball.
Nope.
If you call me dad, I will ignore you on the court.
How about grandpa?
That means Bronny had another surprise for his father.
Okay.
Well,
Pops. In the car, he said, we ride together. At home, I can be dad, but nope, not gonna call me anything other than 2-3 Bron or GOAT. And so he said it won't be that difficult because he's been referring to him by his given name for years. And one thing's for sure, if Bronny slips and calls him dad, there will be a problem. He said, not on my court.
Don't do that.
No. What do you think, Cameron?
I think it's funny. I think that like this is LeBron's craft. This is his life's work.
Yeah.
And I respect him for, separating fatherhood from, just like his great contribution to the game of basketball. Welcoming his son and recognizing his skill level, but also, this is about the game. We can do family stuff later.
I wonder if Shaq's kid gets in and he calls him Uncle Bron. what will that be like?
That's the funny thing. Even though in sports, this is the first time you've had a father-son play in the NBA together. But in just general life, you have families working together. You have fathers owning companies and children coming up in the company. And, do they call him dad? Do they call him sir? Like I always bring up the Jackson family.
That's the first thing I thought of too.
Jackson and Santita, his daughter, calls him Reverend.
Right, they all do.
When I worked with them, I rarely heard Santita call her dad. Right. Every once in a while, she would.
Mother and Reverend.
Always called him Reverend.
Yep. And the other Jacksons, it was Joseph.
Never called him dad.
Nope. He said, "Don't you ever." And it was Mother and Joseph.
The belt came out if they did.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe that's like the first step to the conditioning, but that's just me.
It's been a great conversation, guys. Let's close out with the jewel. A good night's sleep is vital to relaxing the mind, which rejuvenates the brain, improves mood, and increases cognitive function. Let me at it. Okay, I'm all about that. Okay.
I hope a good night's sleep is in store for me. You all.
Yep, cool off. Oh my gosh, look at you.
hey, look at
her.
Look here. I had a little nap before I came here, hence why I was late. Yes.
I think some of that is still lingering. So if you can, go back to it. Thanks, everybody. Go out there and be good to each other. Aloha.